Okay, so now we're going to talk about the definition of a difference quotient, which is f of x plus h minus f of x over h. If you stick the word limit in front of this, it turns into an incredibly important definition for calculus, the very basic foundation of calculus. So let's talk about how to calculate that. So we have a function, f of x is 6x plus 1. So maybe think of this in parts. First, find f of x plus h, then find f of x, then subtract them, and then divide by h. Okay, so if f of x is 6x plus 1, then every place there's an x, I'm going to plug in x plus h. So that's going to give me 6x plus 6h minus 1. So that's f of x plus h. So we have to take f of x plus h, and we have to subtract f of x. So f of x plus h is this guy. So that's going to be 6x plus 6h minus 1. And we're going to subtract from that f of x, which is 6x plus 1. And you got to remember to put it in parentheses so that you distribute that negative sign. So you end up with f of x plus h minus f of x. And the 6x minus 6x cancels out. And, oops, this guy's supposed to be a plus 1. Follow that. That's supposed to be a plus 1 right there. So the 1's cross out. So you end up with 6h. And then divide it by h, and you get 6. So the final answer is 6. All right, let's practice that a couple of more times. So we're going to find f of x plus h. So every place there's an x, I'm going to plug an x plus h in parentheses. So here's me finding f of x plus h. So order of operations says you have to FOIL first. I'm going to FOIL this in my head. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus x plus h minus 1. So that's negative 3x squared minus 6xh minus 3h squared plus x plus h minus 1. So all of that is f of x plus h. And so I have to subtract from that f of x. So I have to minus negative 3x squared plus x minus 1. So remembering to put it in parentheses, it's going to become positive 3x squared minus x plus 1. So the negative 3x squared cancels out with the positive 3x squared. The positive x crosses out with the negative x, and the negative 1 cancels out with the positive 1. And so I'm left with negative 6xh minus 3h squared plus h. And then the last step is to divide it all by h. Well, if you notice, you can take a GCF of h out. So that's going to give me negative 6x minus 3h plus 1 all over h. And then that cancels, and it leaves you with that answer right there. Okay, let's try that again. So the first thing we want to find is f of x plus h. So f of x plus h, so every place there's an x, I'm going to put x plus h. My pencils. Okay, so that's 1, and then 2. Oh, there's an x, so I'm going to put x plus h. So I want to take 1 over x plus h, and I want to minus f of x, which is 1 over 2x. So I need to find a common denominator of 2x, x plus h. So I'm going to need to multiply this guy by x, and I'm going to need to multiply this guy by x plus h. And don't forget or drop that negative sign. In fact, I tend to scoop that negative sign up, and so that's going to give me negative x minus h. And the x crosses out with the x, and so you have negative h over 2x, x plus h. So there's f of x plus h minus f of x. And then we have to divide all that by h. So, of course, we've had tons of division of fractions, so you know that you're going to flip and multiply. So that's going to put that h on the bottom, and the h cancels out with the h, so you end up with negative 1 over 2x times x plus h. Okay, so we're only doing 1-4 today, but 1-4 is a complete review of Algebra 1. So I'm going to zip through this guy pretty quickly. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. Usually they like the x term written first, and there's no fractions. A horizontal line is like y equaling a number. A vertical line is like x equaling a number. Point slope form is y minus y1 equaling m times x minus x1. And general form is ax plus by like minus c equals 0, like it equals 0. So we're going to kind of just work through this page, and we'll be done. I might have to make a separate video. Write the point slope form of the line satisfying, then use point slope form. So the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. So this is the x-axis, so the x-intercept is -1, so that's really -1, 0. And so with 2 points, we can find the slope. So the slope of this is 0 minus -3 over -1 minus 1. So that's 3 over -2. And then once we do that, we can use point slope form. So it doesn't matter which point you use. I'm going to use the point with the 0 in it. So y minus 0 equals -3/2 times x plus 1. And so that gives me y equals -3/2 x minus 3/2. All right, I'm going to end this video because I don't think they can go much longer than this, and we'll finish up the next one.